Welcome back to What If Deku Was Dr. Eggman, Season Finale Part 3. Hopefully y'all will enjoy this video. I know this video was put on delay for like several months. Close to a year, I think now. But I really love this story, and I was never going to just toss it aside and forget about it. Now, one of y'all did remind me that I need to get back into working on this story, as it had been a long time, and I've had so much stuff going on. So, I'm glad, and thank y'all for reminding me of this story. This is one of my favorite stories I've ever done on this channel. I just want to point that out, because the Sonic franchise is going to hold a special place in my heart. I'm currently reacting to the Archie comics, and I am reacting to the IWL comics. And in the future, I plan to react to the Fleetway comics. So if y'all want to check those out, there'll be a link to the playlists for you to check out these videos. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy my stories. Without further ado, let's get right on into the main story of What If Deku Was Eggman? Neo had just finished talking with Griff over the Eggnet. One of the Eggbots would then approach him. Neo, sir. The nomus are destroying our ships. We must take action immediately. Give me the damage report. This is just a headache. For the most part, we've lost at least 4 to 5 ships. Maybe 6. One is currently landing into the sea as we speak. How many are currently around? It seems that Cole, sir, took care of a lot of the nomus, but they're being led by a strong hybrid nomu, sir. Is this the same nomu that took down Cole? Yes, it is, sir. Show me what it looks like now. Bring it on the screen. An image of the nomu would appear on the screen. You will pay for defeating Cole. As he stares at the nomu through the monitor. Then an image pops into his head of Cole smiling in his old hideout. You know, Neo, I was really surprised when you said you wanted to work for this Eggman guy. But if this helps you get your revenge on the heroes of Japan, I guess that makes sense. After all, the heroes of Japan absolutely destroyed your father's group. Y'all ruled over the sea for at least... How long did your father's group last? If you must know, it was a family. A family that had ruled the seas for at least 3 generations with our quarks. And then the stupid heroes of Japan interfered. 3 decades. From what my great-grandfather had started. We had control over every major trading route. No ship was safe unless they had our protection. The heroes didn't even think to bother to mess with us. That's how much power we had. Reminds me of what Griff told me. He was also part of a big group of people with flying quarks. They had quite the reputation. Although the group did last a little while, but with the heroes and the generation of the strong heroes, especially from Japan. And you can't forget about Stars and Stripes from America. They didn't last long. I know. But 15 years ago, Japan's heroes attacked us. Out of nowhere. They had confidence like no other. All because of that #1 hero of theirs. We had no defense. The strongest people in the group were defeated in mere moments. The whole place was in chaos. I had never seen the group so disorganized. It was a coordinated attack by the heroes, which had to take months or a year of planning. We had covered every entry point into where we hid. We either had a traitor or a spy amongst us. That's the only way how they could have known most of our routes around the base, where we hid out in an old port mountain, with tunnels and rooms vasting out through the entire island. Built through a decade of work that my family had done. All went up in a pile of smoke that day. Well, there's no use in changing the past. Exactly, there isn't. And one reason I like working for this Eggman person is because, unlike people, he looks at a machine in his base. The machines won't betray you. You don't fear me or Griff will turn on you one day? Point our weapons towards you, strike you down. Me using my fire, Griff using his wings or claws. Like y'all two could defeat me on your own. After all, you haven't even seen me at full power. You've only seen me... I'm gonna stop you there, boss. You have a crazy amount of power. Not even I, Griff, could match you in a fight. Your corps could even give the #1 hero of America or Japan a run for their money. Guarantee it. Although, I think... Eggman may be a different story. Especially after we delivered him the most needed materials for his latest machines. They'll be powerful enough to even rival some of the top heroes. In fact, I was shocked to hear that the Warbot-looking robot had even information on my own family's group before they were defeated. Apparently, the doctor took interest in it when an article went over his desk. It was an old article, but still. He holds us in high regard. Especially after what we've done. So I'll say he has respect for us, more than any other person we've had to work for. And I don't plan on losing. With your strength, you're never gonna lose, boss. Thanks, Cole. Sir. He snapped out of his daze. What? The ship is taking damage, sir. Bring me my sword. One of the egg bots would go bring him his sword. At the hilt of the sword, it had raindrops of clouds, with one raining. On the rain guard of the hilt are wolves with lightning in a storm cloud, with a long, sharp blade. He had picked up his sword. Eggbot 204. These are your new orders. While me and a few of the egg ships go deal with these final nomus, I order you and the rest of the ships to remain in circle formation around Japan. I have reports from Eggman himself saying that factions of other heroes will be arriving soon to help Japan. We must not let them break the encirclement. You are to keep them at bay as long as possible. You understand that? Understood, sir. Good. Dispatch the most elite Eggbots currently on the ship to deal with the nomu. He walks out of the control room. Meanwhile, on the east coast of Japan, where Griff is currently dealing with his own set of problems. Why in the world is that ship turning into dust? Griff just watched as one of his ships under his command turned into dust just like that. Zero enters. Currently, the leader of the League of Villains has a decay quark, and he is currently rampaging our ships. Apparently, he doesn't take kindly that our boss took out his master all for one. You don't say. Does he have anything shiny? No. Rats! I was really hoping to get some sort of reward out of this today. But no, of course I had to be put on the east coast of Japan, to where there's not even a single thing that I could get as a reward. I really need to ask Eggman to give me, like, something very shiny. Then again, I just need that one thing out of my collection. That... Sir, I do believe you need to get focused, as another ship has decayed. I suppose you're right. Send Giganto! E23, I think? Wasn't that his name? Zero, tell me his name. Giganto is designated number is E122. E122 Giganto? That is precisely his name. Then who is E23? That was one of Eggman's earlier creations, known as Missile Wrist. Ha! I learned something new. Anyway, deploy Giganto to deal with Shigaraki. That was his name, correct? Yes, Shigaraki Tomura. Well, deploy him and activate his shields. We don't want his... Well... What is Giganto's power scaling in terms of his robots? Eggman's? Giganto is currently one of Eggman's most heavy-hitter robots, and powerful robots in his command. With its own designated prototype force field. You know what, just deploy it. I'm done with this conversation. And find me something shiny to add to my collection, will you? As you command. Zero just floats out of the control room. And Griff just lays down as he pulls out something shiny from his pocket. Y'all could say it's a coin, a ring, or whatever your imagination has in store. Ships would move out of the way to make room for Giganto to walk by them to head towards the ship that is currently being attacked by Shigaraki. Scanners detected. Target located. Target Shigaraki Tomura, leader of the League of Villains. Firing laser. He shoots the laser, destroying his own ship with Shigaraki near it. Shigaraki had managed to use his own defensive quirk to propel himself out of the way of the blast as the ship explodes. Target designated still alive, preparing another shot. He raises his cannon, preparing to fire again. Then flames are shot from the other side of Giganto, as the flames get deflected by a force field. Target redirected. New target, Dabi of the League of Villains, also known as Toya Todoroki. Firing main cannon. Fires at Dabi. Shigaraki tries to rush over to touch Giganto, as he gets blasted off and electrified by Giganto's shield. Detection. Threat. More lethal. Decay. Must eliminate first. Changing targets. Giganto swings his left cannon arm at Shigaraki. Shigaraki notices the cannon and immediately pulls up his hand to touch it with his quirk. But instead of him decaying Giganto, he is sent flying back by the hit by Giganto's cannon. Shigaraki is wondering why his quirk was not working. Why aren't you decaying? I touched you with my quirk. Because Shigaraki did not touch the force field. He had touched Giganto's armor. A voice would be projected between the entire area of the fight. You really thought your quirk would work on Giganto? Giganto was upgraded by Dr. Eggman using a special type of metal that does not have any effect on quirks like decay or even regular quirks. All will bounce off, and physical force won't work on it either because of its force field. So all your attacks are pretty much useless against the thing. Shigaraki will be looking for where it's coming from. Then we just have to find where you're at and destroy the ship where you're controlling this giant person is on. And then this thing won't be a threat anymore. Well, good luck with that, Scarface Man and Tomura Shigaraki. Giganto. Destroy them. Targets located. Firing cannons once again. Shigaraki and Dabi would use their quirks to evade Giganto's blasts. As Giganto keeps firing around, as the Eggman ships would keep their distance away from the battle between Giganto and the two League of Villains' most heavy hitters. Dabi would dodge using his fire to just barely miss an incoming laser from Giganto. Flying around, he'd constantly be throwing fire at Giganto, but only to be blocked by its shield. Giganto would then start aiming at Shigaraki, firing both of his arm cannons at both Shigaraki and Dabi. Dabi would constantly be dodging these cannons, as one hit would simply most likely kill Dabi. Shigaraki had gotten hit in the shoulder, but he'd regenerate with a regeneration quirk, as they're both throwing attacks left and right at Giganto. If decay won't work, then I'll use this. He sends several black tendrils out towards Giganto Machia's shield. Giganto's Machia's shield would block them. A thing will appear on Giganto's screen. Shield currently getting damaged. Imminent breakthrough. Shield may collapse. Deploying missile countermeasures. Giganto's chest would open up, revealing missiles as they would launch out from his chest, targeting Shigaraki. Shigaraki would see that Giganto's chest opened up, and immediately uses an air cannon to push himself away from Giganto's shield. The missiles would just simply flow out from the shield as if they were designed to, tracking Shigaraki. He would constantly use air cannon to evade, and he would use black tendrils to shoot several out from the sky, blowing up. He would be evading left and right. He would swing his arm using his rapid regeneration to grow several limbs, hitting the missiles with it, blowing them up with his hand. And if you're confused on how he's flying, he's just using one of his various quirks. I know this is time in My Hero he has access to several different quirks because he's gotten the upgrade from Dr. Giganto, who had upgraded him, and he's already had the fight with Endeavor and the other heroes. He regenerates his hand. We're not going to get anywhere with that shield in the way. Shigaraki looks around and knows that the ships aren't moving from their positions. They're not even attacking. They're just sitting there. They're letting Giganto, the giant robot, deal with Dabi and Shigaraki. We go back to Griff, who's currently staying on top of his ship with Zero. Zero, how long until we can encircle them without them knowing? By my calculations, another 3 minutes. But by the looks of it, it looks like Shigaraki may have found a way to pierce Giganto's defense. Even if they pierce the defensive barrier Eggman constructed, it is still only in its prototype phase. It has been modified a little, but it's still in the prototype phase. He has not had the time to put a fully functional shield generator in. Or at least one of his scale. I see! But can you tell me, how long would it take for me to enter the fray and deal with them? I've calculated your speed from data Eggman has given to me. You could take down Dabi of the League of Villains, probably within 3 minutes, if you do not get burned. Noted. I think I'm gonna go with the caged bird plan. So tell me exactly when all the ships are in order, because right now they don't seem to notice our ships moving that well. They are moving slowly, so they do not notice that they'll be encircled. Precisely as the plan shall go. We go back to Shigaraki and Dabi. Since you won't go down easy, what happens if I just flood your circuits? Shigaraki raises his hand, as it grows, making several arms and hands, as he would swing his huge arm down, as Giganto's barrier would appear. He would slam on the barrier, pushing down Giganto, as the floor of the sea would start breaking below Giganto's feet from the pressure. Dabi would fly in and immediately start using his fire on his barrier. Even though it's burning Shigaraki's hands, it's causing pressure on the shield, pushing him down further as the floor beneath Giganto of the sea starts to break. He has started to use air cannons to push down on his hand, crushing Giganto as it would eventually cause the floor under Giganto to absolutely break, as a big splash of water would appear from where Giganto was standing. Griff's binoculars would drop from his hands as he had just watched Giganto fall into the sea. That was one of Eggman's most strongest machines, and they just destroyed it. No, 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 no. Griff starts biting his claw. No, no. I needed them to at least distract them for at least one more minute. If Giganto's defeated, and we're not in that formation, then Shigaraki could possibly destroy several of these ships in an instant. He's just too powerful. Think, 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 think. Griff would start hitting his head against metal. Think, think, think. But Giganto is not defeated yet. His systems are still operational. He would look away from the piece of metal he was hitting his head against, as it had left a solid dent into the metal he was hitting his head against. Wait, he's not destroyed? No. His systems are still functioning. They are still going through the Eggnet. Phew! That's a relief. As he wipes some blood off his forehead. Dabi and Shigaraki would look. Now that big robot's down, Shigaraki would look at the egg ships. But he would not hear Dabi calling out to him from behind. Shigaraki, look out! A laser would shoot out, hitting at Shigaraki's back, causing his entire back and torso to be burned. He would fall into the sea, as Giganto, even though submerged underwater, can still fire his weapon systems, so his lasers, his rockets, his weapon systems are still online. So he randomly shooting in the air from underwater. How is that thing still operational? Dabi can't really do anything because it's submerged in water. His quark won't have any effect now that it's in water, making it very difficult for Dabi to do anything against Giganto now that he's submerged. They were hoping this plan of submerging Giganto would have it malfunction and cease to work. And that is partially true, as they did manage to destroy Giganto's barrier. It was destroyed by the combination of Shigaraki's quarks and Dabi's fire. The pressure had managed to crack the barrier and hitting it against the sea floor. Two pressures hitting it from both sides had managed to shatter the barrier, but not enough to damage Giganto's frame seriously. There were some damage, but not much. Shigaraki would regenerate his skin from his back that had gotten scorched by Giganto's laser. He is currently submerged under the water, where he sees Giganto still standing, but in a hole from where the sea floor had broken. Shigaraki, where are you? Dabi would be yelling Shigaraki's name. Shigaraki! As he'd be looking all over towards the water to see where Shigaraki is at. And then out of nowhere, he would get punched in the face, sending him flying a little distance in the air. As he would propel himself using his fire back up, he would look over and just see Griff flying. Wow, your flames are hot! He shakes his hand, shaking off the little blue flame that was on his hand. Man, you may have even stronger fire than Cole. And he turns his whole body into flames. Finally decide to show yourself instead of letting your robot do the work. Well, yes and no. I didn't want to interfere with Shigaraki since, after all, what he did to the number 2 hero and defeated him. And I was very surprised to learn that you are a Todoroki. Never expected that. Toya Todoroki. Dabi sends several flames. And for explanation, I prefer calling him Dabi instead of Toya, because I'm just used to calling him that. Dabi would send flames at Griff. He would simply fly up using his wings. There's really no use if you can't hit me, you know. Dabi then would propel himself with his flames and rushing towards Griff. Griff would seemingly just fly off into a distance. As he's approaching one of his ships, Dabi following close behind, Griff would then lean his body upward and in a circle formation. Dabi would fly right past Griff, and seemingly just to go right beside one of the egg ships, until he gets electrocuted. Ooh, that had to be nasty. Dabi would use his flames to push away from whatever was electrocuting him. He would then hold his head and then just look. What is that? Plan Birdcage. Each ship has coordinated themselves around you and me, releasing electric fences all the way around into a barrier. This device was originally made for one robot in particular under my command. But with some modifications and asking and begging for the doctor, I got him to make this. So welcome to the Birdcage. This used to be a formation back when I was part of a very, very famous group of villains that ruled the skies. But without all of the people a part of that group, all gone and arrested, probably executed, I don't know. I had to think of another way to deploy this wonderful technique. And luckily, Eggman was kind enough to agree. So there'll be no interfering in between this fight between me and you. The birdcage will not come down, no one will interfere, until at least I am defeated, or you're defeated. Which one shall it be? Griff has a smile on his face. Oh, and don't think about just flying over or flying below it. It covers us in a full circle, so neither of us can escape. Griff has a smile on his face with his wings flapping behind him. We cut back into the water where Giganto is pointing his arm, where a laser is going side to side as Shigaraki is dodging left to right. Using a water-breathing cork to breathe underwater, he boosts himself forward with an air cannon towards Giganto, punching it with a powerful enhanced punch, managing to dent one of its guns. As that hand tries to fire, the gun explodes, making a shockwave, pushing Shigaraki back as the arm just goes flying off Giganto. Arm damaged. Torpedoes being released. Giganto's chest opens up once more, and instead of regular missiles, they've been swapped out with torpedoes, as they are released into the water as they start zooming towards Shigaraki. Shigaraki uses his black tendrils to block the incoming torpedoes, as they would blow up in the water, as splashes could be seen from above. Well, it looks like your pal, Shigaraki's fighting Giganto down there underwater. Very impressive. A huge gust of flames would rush towards Griff. He would close his wings and cover around himself as he just falling below the flames, as he would spread his wings, flap, and then just rush with his claws out, rushing towards Dabi. He flies right past Dabi's shoulder, slicing his shoulder just a little bit. He then flaps his wings as he moves super fast around Dabi. Dabi is spewing flames left and right towards Griff. Griff is just flying around, dodging all the flames, and he would even move fast enough to get close and cutting Dabi's arms little by little, giving him scratches. Even though Dabi is producing a lot of flames around his body, Griff is getting close enough to just leave scratches. Cutting his arms, cutting his legs, even cutting his cheek a little bit, while keeping his distance away from the flames. He then stops for a moment. It looks like the flame villain of the League of Villains doesn't have that fast of a reaction speed. Well, to be fair, I'm faster than Hawks. And that's saying something. Why do I smell burnt chicken? Griff looks at his hand, which is on fire. Oh, hot, 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 hot! Man, Zero wasn't kidding, your flames get hot. Once I defeat you, there will be nothing left but ash. He uses his flames to propel himself very fast towards Griff, and then immediately just throws his flames in a forward motion across a wide area, covering a vast area where Griff was at. Griff had used his wings as a shield to protect himself from Dabi's attack. You'll have to try harder than that, Dabi, because my wings are as fire resistant as an active volcano. And that would explain, during that one mission on my old team, of why I was sent in the volcano to retrieve a trophy that one of my teammates dropped. It's probably because I have the most heat-resistant wings. As he's just talking about his past a little bit, just ranting on, Dabi goes and throws a whole bunch of flames. Griff just flaps his wings and shoots upward, before plucking one of his feathers and tossing it towards Dabi. Dabi would look towards where Griff flew to. When he looked up, a feather just crossed his cheek, cutting his cheek. Normally I don't use this tactic of using my feathers as weapons, because I can only use them when throwing them. I can't control them to move them around like Hawks. Why, is he the number 3 hero right now, or is he number 4? Never kept up with the hero rankings in Japan, never really cared. Guarantee your feathers will burn just fine. Griff throws another. Dabi stretches out his arm as blue flames come out of his hand, but it doesn't destroy the feather. It pierces Dabi's hand. Hey, idiot scarred man. I thought I told you. My feathers are super heat resistant. If they can survive a volcano, guarantee your cremation will do nothing to them. I've never tested it though, but I have a theory that I could dive in lava with my wings around me and I'll be perfectly fine flying right out. I guess I'll have to turn up the heat to where you were incinerated in a single blast then. Oh, good luck with that, if you can catch me, that is. Try to dodge this. Dabi gathers a whole bunch of fire around himself. Flames are spouting from every part around him. It's burning his skin even deeper to where he has more burn scars. After he gathers enough fire, he releases it as it sends fire all the way through the birdcage. Okay, that might be a problem. Griff quickly just shuts his wings to protect himself, as a huge big flame just covers the entire inside of the birdcage. The flames are not escaping due to the barrier fences that's connected by the ships around the birdcage. Scanning for Shigaraki. Shigaraki is not appearing on scanners. Switching over to radar. Shigaraki had swam around behind Giganto and was preparing a large air cannon attack. As he was about to fire the air cannon attack directly at Giganto's back, Giganto picked him up on his radar. Shigaraki, behind me, preparing all firepower into the remaining arm. As he would turn around and point his laser, as the laser would hit with the air cannon, causing an explosion in the water. Shigaraki, using this time as the explosion is going off, dives straight through, not caring about his body as it would regenerate due to a regeneration quirk. He fused multiple quarks into his arm and then just shot straight towards Giganto, piercing into his chest armor. Critical condition. Systems failing. Activating emergency self-destruct sequence. Giganto's chest would open up before several robotic arms would appear that were reloading the torpedo and missile slots as they would grab onto Shigaraki and pull him close to the metal. Blowing up in 3, 2, 1. Both the explosion from Giganto and the fire from Dabi's attack would go off at the exact same time, ending both fights. The birdcage would come down as several of the metal beams on the ships that was holding up the birdcage were melted from Dabi's fire. Status report. Any life signals detected. We are getting a faint life signal, approaching us at high speed. Zero would look towards where Dabi had released a huge area of fire. As Griff comes slamming into the ship with his wings burned, most of his feathers gone, as he just ragdolls on the ship before he hits the metal door going into the ship. Head first, by the way. Zero would approach Griff, who basically most of his feathers are gone now. No, Mother, I would not like chicken. I would like a nice, big, juicy steak. Vitals, secure. Injuries, high. Risk of lost life, critical. Take him to medical bay. Several egg robots would pick up Griff and immediately take him to the medical bay on board the ship. We go to Neo, to where he has just walked out to the deck of the ship, the very top of the ship. He looks to see several of the ships are pulling back, away from the battlefield, like he had ordered that one robot to do. He looks around at all the chaos that is happening. Several of the ships are damaged, being destroyed, being attacked by nomus. Some of the egg robots are being picked up and thrown off the ships. He would then watch one explode as one purple nomu comes out from the inside of the ship. There you are. A eggbot would walk up beside him with a jetpack as he would hand it to Neo. Thank you. He would put on the jetpack and immediately turn it on. He starts flying towards Fred the Nomu. He would look back, noticing 2 squads of Eggbots behind him. Squad 1, take care of all Nomus interfering. Squad 2, let's see how powerful this Nomu really is. Squad 1 would diverge off to fight the Nomu in the surrounding area, leaving Neo and Squad 2, which are quickly approaching Fred the Nomu as he's finishing destroying another egg ship, to deal with him. Neo pulls out his sword. Fire! Several of the Eggbots fire their weapons, shooting at the Nomu. He just makes a purple orb, which the lasers go through and immediately start firing back towards Neo and Squad 2. Neo pulls out his sword, hitting the lasers, deflecting them off. Some of the Eggbots weren't so lucky, as 2 had gotten shot while the others were evading. If long range won't work, we'll try close range. He puts his jetpack to max power and boosts towards Fred the Nomu. He swings straight down at Fred's neck. Fred the Nomu raises one arm and blocks it. Neo punches Fred, but he doesn't feel it. He swings at Neo, but gets shot in the back by two egg robots, giving Neo enough time to back away. He swings his hand backward. He releases a little wave of a purple slash, which cut the 2 egg robots in half, leaving Neo with at least a total of 4 Eggbots left. Fred the Nomu turns around and Neo is already approaching with his sword, swinging to the right towards Fred. The nomu Fred raises his hand to block his strike, and it encodes it into like a purple crystal arm, which blocks Neo's sword. Fred extends his arm backward and throws a punch straight at Neo's face. He dodges it, lets go of one hand on the sword, and then punches him straight in the jaw. Fred would go flying into a circle until he would land in an egg ship. Neo would grab both hands on his sword and immediately use his jetpack to go straight forward, diving into the ship, raising his sword and slashing down to where Fred was in the ship. Fred had hardened his hands to be like the purple crystals to block the attack. He's being pushed through the ship by Neo's strength. As they fall through one floor, Neo's muscles start to bulge as they grow bigger, as he just puts more pressure on the downward swing, causing Fred to fly completely out of the ship and going straight towards the sea. As a huge water explosion goes off, Neo is looking down to see where Fred ended up. Fred would propel himself out of the water, using a purple blast, which skyrockets him straight towards the ship. He immediately has his arm stretched out and sends a few like purple spears. Neo swings his sword, redirecting the spheres into the egg ship, blowing up a few areas in the ship. Fred had to reach up to him at this point and throws a haymaker straight to Neo's face. He uses his sword to block it with one hand, but gets pushed back because of Fred's immense strength. He goes sliding back. I can see how Cole lost to you now. You have some crazy strength, and your body is modified more than the other nomus. I got a report about you, but I didn't think nothing of it at the time. You were labeled as one of the possible threats in Eggman's report. I probably should take this seriously. As he was talking, Fred had just ran forward, has a purple ball in his hand, and just got real close to Neo's face with it as it explodes, sending Neo flying backwards, going through 3 doors. His mask shatters. Alright, that's enough messing around. He grabs his sword with both of his hands and makes a diagonal swing, cutting the ship completely in half. Fred also got cut in half, but immediately purple tendrils would reattach to his lower body, as it would just regenerate. The nomu Fred just tilts his neck, as the ship is pummeling into the sea. Neo boosts over with his jetpack towards Fred, and goes for another swing. Red raises his purple crystal hand. Neo just cuts straight through his arm as it goes flying in the opposite direction. He goes swinging for his head next. Fred would look at the sword before he turned his other hand into a hook before swinging his hand, cutting Neo's sword in half. Neo stops and looks at his broken sword. Neo is visibly angry. That was my father's sword! His face starts turning into more of a wolf as his claws extend. You'll pay for that! He sheaves the remaining of his sword into a sheath. 2 of the Eggbots from Squad 2 would then fly towards Fred and start firing. Neo would put on the jetpack to full and just rush at the 2 Eggbots, destroying them with his own claws. Out of my way! He's mine! He then points his claws towards Fred's chest. Fred simply makes a purple ball in front of him. Neo coats his claws in electricity and pierces the purple ball as it explodes, sending Fred and Neo flying back, causing a shockwave that would change the clouds from cloudy to stormy. It would start to rain. Neo had ran back up with his claws, seemingly rushing at him. His jetpack is starting to run low on fuel, but he keeps rushing towards Fred, swinging his claws. Fred would constantly fire several purple circles that would either go past him, or being deflected by his claws, or even taking the hits. This would cause collateral damage with several of the egg ships around. As they start taking damage, blowing up, Neo manages to get in close and puts his hands together and then swings downward, sending Fred straight through another ship, before he just simply slashes down and cutting that ship in half. He rushes down at Fred, who's closer to the water. Fred does a purple blast which sends Neo flying up into the clouds. Fred would follow him. Fred would enter the clouds, looking around for Neo. Neo would be walking on the clouds and just simply clawing at his back, clawing at him from every which direction, using the clouds as cover. His jetpack is out of fuel. He's taken more of a beast form, that of a werewolf, running on the thunderclouds. He would rush towards it from behind, with his mouth open, preparing to bite Fred's head off. Fred would immediately harden his head to like the crystal thing he did to his arms. Neo will bite on it, but wouldn't break through. Fred would swing his head, sending Neo off, which would land on the clouds. Fred would look at him before Neo just fled back into the clouds, running around like a beast. Lightning was crackling all around them. Fred would look around in the clouds that have darkened because they're storm clouds. Thunder's going off, giving a small glimpse of Neo as he's running on the storm clouds. Fred is constantly just looking around. He had regenerated his arm. Then a whole bunch of purple spheres would appear around him, releasing spikes going every which direction into the storm clouds randomly. Thunder would then strike Fred directly. As he stumbles back for a moment, Neo rushes out from his position. One of the spikes had pierced his shoulder, but he keeps running, not caring that his shoulder is bleeding. As it breaks as he's moving in close towards Fred. His body is emitting electricity. He's moving very fast and is closing on Fred. Fred spots him and immediately gathers energy for an attack. As a huge purple ball would appear in his hands as it would get bigger and bigger, Neo is about to collide with it. You think something like this will stop me? His eyes have been covered over by light blue like covered in lightning. He immediately swings down his claws, digging into Fred's attack. Fred would then let go of his attack and immediately punch it with his fist, causing a mushroom cloud of purple energy to appear, clearing the sky of the storm clouds. Neo is blasted all the way from the sky to the water. While Fred is still standing, his whole body burned as it just quickly regenerates. Neo is falling from the sky, covered in several burns. Fred is just simply looking down. Neo looks up as he's falling towards the water. He opens his mouth as a beam of lightning just goes through his mouth and goes straight through Fred's neck. Fred just looks down at him, puts his hand where the hole in his neck is, moves his hand down, and the hole just regenerates instantly. Neo would then hit the water as he witnessed just Fred just healing his neck like nothing happened. It looks like I've lost. Then images of Griff and Cole would appear in his mind. There's no way you're gonna lose, boss. Yeah. Although, can I please get that reward that you keep in that safe behind your, Quit it. His eyes would then open as they're roaring with electricity and rage. Was I thinking I was going to lose? Then his whole body would be covered in electricity. I'll never lose. Lightning is scorching off Neo's body. He starts to transform into an electric wolf. He jumps out of the water, rushing towards Fred. I'll tear you to shreds. Fred would raise his hand, but it was too late. Neo was moving at the speed of a lightning bolt, as he had just plowed right through Fred's center of mass, tearing him apart, but he's not done. Take this! As he just basically explodes himself with electricity, frying everything around him, causing electrical shockwaves to go all around the area, causing massive engine failure and failure to all the egg ships as they start to plummet into the sea. Only one is unaffected because of a backup power generator, and is only floating without anyone occupying it, and that was the command ship Neo was on. Neo used all of his energy and would plummet back into the sea. Mission complete. He has a smile on his face. We now go to the egg command ship that Neo used, as a purple sphere had appeared above it. As Fred started to regenerate. But his arm would not regenerate, as he had used too much energy. So Fred decided to go into the egg command ship. We go to Orbot. Oh, that's not good. It looks like all of the egg ships pretty much in the vicinity of where Neo was at have gone down. As he pulls up a screen, he just sees egg ships just sticking out of the sea, left and right. I should report this to Eggman. Orbot prepares to leave to go get Eggman, when suddenly a call starts to ring on a monitor. An image of Zero would appear on the screen. Zero, I should be getting a report from Griff, not you. Griff is currently in critical condition. He is currently on the ship's medical bay being treated as we speak. What happened? 2 members of the League of Villains attacked our position. Don't tell me they destroyed your side. No. We've taken minimal casualties, although Giganto was destroyed. Well, the boss is not gonna like that. But I can confirm that Dabi of the League of Villains is no more. I also presume Shigaraki was destroyed by Giganto when he self-destructed. Well, that's good news, though. That eliminates 2 key threats. Or hopefully, at least. Thank you for your report. Hold your positions around Japan. If need be on standby to regroup with the main Eggman fleet arriving in Japan in about 10 minutes. Orders understood. The call would end, and Orbot would go over to where Eggman Deku's at. Eggman Deku is currently sitting down, working on controls, seemingly working on something. Boss? Not now, Orbot. I'm currently wrapping up on my latest invention before we arrive in Japan, where I'll be able to test fire it. It is kind of urgent, sir. Deku would reach over, grab coffee, and drink some coffee, and then before setting it down, make it quick. Well, Griff has been defeated. Has his side fallen? No. We don't have anything to worry about then. Just order Neo to send some ships over to his quadrant. Reinforce whatever was over there was lost. Well, actually, we have more ships over there than we do have on Neo's side. Eggman would stop before turning around in his chair. What do you mean? Neo and Cole have been defeated. And we don't really have anything defending on Neo's side except one flagship, but we have not managed to contact it. Deku would have a serious face. What do you mean, Neo has been defeated? His corps could rival several of the top heroes in Japan. We are currently not detecting Neo at all. All the ships over on his side went down when he did a huge powerful surge of electricity which shut down the power to all the ships within the vicinity. even shut off some of the power on the coast of Japan, which he was closest to. Peculiar. I knew he was powerful, but able to send a attack so strong it causes an EMP effect on the whole surrounding area. Never thought he was that strong. Who defeated him? It was a nomu. The same nomu that was sent to Tartarus to free All for One. We believe the nomu was destroyed in his final attack. We have no camera or surveillance to know what happened to him after the blast. What about Cole? Cole is currently drifting on one of the E100 series robots. Eggman would turn back around, pick up his coffee, and drink it. Deploy a small egg ship to pick him up and immediately send him to where I picked up Hazel. Are you sure it's wise to send Cole there? Why not back to base? Are you questioning my orders, Orbot? No, sir. I was just simply asking. If you must know, I'm keeping my word to Hazel. With him there will be a highly more chance of it being protected further. And I have no use for a person that is currently unconscious and unable to fight right now. It's better to take him somewhere where he's out of the way. As you wish, sir. One more thing. Dispatch a small unit of Eggbots to retrieve that elite egg ship I had Neo use. It's still functional, correct? Even if an EMP went off, there should have been a backup generator to keep it online. Most of the robots are probably fried, though. I will dispatch them right away, sir. Orbot would leave. Eggman would turn around and immediately start working back on what he was working on. The weapon should be ready to fire as soon as I arrive on the coast of Japan. Maybe needs a few more minutes to recharge. He would then call two people. Emerald, Hazel, you're holding your positions, correct? Emerald would nod. Everything is clear on my end, Eggman. Good. Neo's side is pretty much out of commission. I'll be activating Plan B for the defenses around Japan. The shield will not be turned off until I order it to. Sir. What is it, Hazel? Sir, what about the American heroes currently heading their way to Japan as we speak? Ellie will handle it. She'll need to hold off Stars and Stripes for at least 10 minutes for the shield to fully activate. Well, that's how long it'll take to fully activate when I arrive. You'll prepare for my arrival in 5 minutes. The shield will activate in 2 minutes after my arrival. I'm sorry to interject about your plan. I don't think Ellie will be able to withstand at least 7 minutes with the #1 hero of America. 2 minutes will be deducted from that because in that time Stars and Stripes will arrive to face off against Ellie. She'll just need to hold them off for 5 minutes. She does not have the experience. She may have been trained by Clove. I do not have confidence that she'll be able to hold the hero off from getting in Japan before the barrier is up. Don't underestimate her. She actually has a brilliant mind. And that mech that she designed should do the job for at least 5 minutes. And if she fails, I already have contingencies in place. The #1 hero of America has a very powerful quirk, but not even her quirk will be able to penetrate the shield once it's up. You are both to wait for my arrival in Japan. No further orders shall be given until I arrive. He would end the call. I wasn't expecting so many variables in my plan. I knew Shigaraki was powerful, and I lost two great assets. Giganto and Griff is currently out of commission, with Neo and Cole also defeated by that one powerful nomu. That must have been Garaki's main test subject for his nomu project of high-end nomus. Surprisingly, it didn't show any intelligence of speaking, but it might have a fabricated mind with high intelligence. It should have been destroyed in the blast Neo caused. But just in case, I'll have Hazel on standby to deploy if it shows up. She should be able to destroy the thing. Other than Neo, she's the most powerful amongst the egg bosses. Her abilities far surpass even Neo's himself. At least in combat. I will say Neo was the more strategic mind of a leader. But I think his fight had him clouded because of Cole's defeat. There's also the hedgehog I have to think about. He'll most likely show up to ruin my plans once again. And with 3 Chaos Emeralds out of my grasp, things just got a whole lot harder. As long as the Master Emerald is secure aboard this ship, everything from here on forward should be going according to plan. We go to Ellie. In a hangar bay, Ellie's currently working on her mech. The one that she had given the blueprints and design to Eggman. She had been working on it since Eggman approved the designs. He even dispatched a group of egg bots to help her put it together. She is currently attaching a bolt onto the mech with a wrench with her prosthetic arm, when she suddenly gets a call from Neo. What is it? I'm already having difficulties with my machine, trying to add the last few touches to this machine. After all, this thing just got finished before being deployed. There are still some bugs. Listen, Cole, Clove are down. This would surprise Ellie. What? Currently, I just lost contact with Cole, one of my men. And currently, Clove, a person that trained you from my knowledge, and an egg boss, has currently been MIA. Kasha's whereabouts are still unknown to me. As that message would come over from Jack. I'm already dealing with too much. Sir, we are taking damage on the outside. It seems like a few of the ships are already taking damage from the Nomu's attacks. Cut it! I'm in a conversation. Yes, sir. Listen. Deal with those Americans and do not let them pass until Eggman gets his attack off. He will arrive in Japan within the hour. We have to hold till then. I will do my best. There's still some bugs with the machine, but maybe I can get them fixed out before the Americans arrive in about 20 minutes. You better. We don't have much of an opening. Sir, another ship just went down. Reinforce it. Send one of the back ships. As you wish, sir. There's so many problems of late. And Nomu and the 2 egg bosses being defeated. But, sir, you're getting a constant call from Jack. I said cut it! Just make sure they don't pass. The call with Neo would end. And quite a bit of time, at least 15 to 20 minutes, would pass. As she's getting a call from Eggman. Hello, sir? Ah, hello, Ellie. I sent you here mostly not to deal with any forces. I was really hoping America would stay out of this. But I'd anticipate if the #1 hero of America was going to aid Japan. So I was really hoping not to send you to fight against her. But you're the only one that could currently face her, while others prepare for my arrival. Your mech should be powerful enough to delay her. I need you to delay the forces for at least 5 minutes. After that, I give you full permission to retreat. And if your mech is somehow destroyed in the battle, do not worry, there is a contingency for your escape. You will be taken back to the base where you will stay with Qbot, and I will ask you to look over Eri as well. Sarah has already been sent back to the base to make sure everything is going smoothly there, and that Qbot isn't messing everything up again. I better not return to find the boiler room a mess again. I don't want another meltdown. But back on topic. Enough talking about Qbot. Ugh. Why did I program him to be such an idiot? But I want to see more of your designs. Your mech really intrigued me. The layout of it, the blueprints. When putting it together, I even worked on it myself. I see great potential in you. You have a very creative mind. Designing your own mech like this fascinated me. You remind me much of my younger self. How I was so enthusiastic about creating designs, working on machines. I had made some creative tech. But those dreams were tossed aside by this society, which just think quarks are superior to technology. I will show them how wrong they are. Oh, sorry, I must have gotten a little bit of my dark side out. My apologies. Working at Island for so long just to be discarded. And they even tried to eliminate me. I do not want to see someone that has a high intellect like my own go through the same fate. So you can trust that my contingency will get you out of there to make sure you do not perish or get captured by the heroes. I also look forward for the feedback from your mech. Now if you'll excuse me, I must get back to preparing for my arrival. I'll be there very shortly. Wait, Eggman. What is it? Thank you. For what? Saving my life. I suppose you'd be indebted to me for that. You might have survived, even without my help. But I doubt it, though. You had lost so much blood. You're the first person to actually like my designs and my work. To not just simply say to change a different career path. Interesting. So it seems you're like me in that regard, to where everyone was putting you down, saying that you would fail. Saying to try something else. But you kept striving, working on it, because you wanted to do engineering, make machines, be something that could evolve technology into the future. She would nod her head. Eggman would have a smile. When I get back and once this whole battle is over, I look forward to see what you make next, Ellie. The call would end. Both Ellie and Robotnik would have smiles on their faces. Deku, because he's looking forward to see what Ellie would make next. And for Ellie, for someone actually appreciating her designs and her engineering. Sir? What is it, Orbot? I thought I assigned you to do something. You did, sir, but I thought I would ask this question. Are you going to tell her whose blood you used to replace her own? No, it's not important. But, sir, you gave her your blood. You were sick for hours. Even unable to work for at least a day after that. What about it? Nothing. It just kind of reminded me of what you did for the Pronghorn sisters. Yes. I recall for Kasha that I had stayed up for weeks, looking for a cure left and right, combining elements, looking for similar illnesses, every possible thing that would lead to an antibody, to find a way to cure her. But the only way I could cure her was to transfer her body into robotic. And even that is only really temporary. As long as she keeps taking her medicine, she will not deteriorate anymore. You also left out, sir, that you even passed out at the desk looking for a cure for her a few times. You had stayed up very late. And then there was Jester. When he fell ill, you went to go see him right away. Or when Sting almost died on that one mission, you made sure to upgrade his suit even further. And we can't forget about... That's enough. Right now is not to get sentimental. Head back to your post and tell me if anything happens. Got it? Yes, sir. We go back to Ellie as she's getting into her mech, preparing for Stars Stripes to arrive. Turning on main power supply. Okay, everything's good. Movement of the arms. Both of the mech's arms would move. Alright, everything's good there. Now the only test that needs to be done is dropping it into the sea. One of the egg bots would just walk into the room, approaching Ellie's mech with a tablet. Ma'am, we currently have stealth jets approaching our ships at high speeds, with the looks of it to be a hero riding on top of one. They will arrive within a minute from now. I guess I won't be able to test all the weapons before they arrive. It looks like I'm gonna have to field test this in battle. Not the exact way how I wanted to test the mech, but it should do. Egg Soldier, please open the hangar bay. The Eggbot walks over to a button on the wall and presses it, but instead of the hangar opening up and Ellie's mech falling out, the floor under the Eggbot would open up, dropping the Eggbot into a rocket before blasting him off through the ceiling. Why in the world does this ship have that? She would then proceed to call the control room. Eggbots in the control room, could you please open the hangar from there? The hangar would actually open up and have Ellie's mech fall out of it, as it would land in the water, waiting Stars and Stripes' arrival with the stealth jets. We go to Stars and Stripes. They are approaching the egg ships. Stars and Stripes, we are currently approaching Japan? Wait, there are currently ships ahead. Wait a minute, we weren't informed of a welcoming party. I don't think those are the Hero Safety Commission ships. Once they got a little closer, they noticed that the ship's cannons had been locked onto them, as they would start opening fire, sending several blasts towards them, aiming to take down the fire jets, even shooting down at least 2 of them, because they were not expecting a full-on army waiting for them just off the coasts of Japan. Take evasive action, dodge all of the incoming shots. New order, invincible body. She would jump off the jet, would punch several of the rounds, heading to the stealth jet that she was on, simply deflecting them. We go to Ellie, who's currently underwater in her mech, observing the fight through the cameras through the ships. Stars and Stripes, Quark, New Order. Okay, it seems that she had made her body invincible. I don't have enough information to clearly know if my mech will do enough damage. But I know I can do this, though. She would send a command to the ships as, 3 ships would move forward towards Stars and Stripes and the stealth jets. And I can help by doing this. She would also maneuver one of her arms facing the direction of the sky, preparing to shoot. 3 of the egg ships would move forward, opening fire, leaving the circle formation to meet Stars and Stripes further out. The stealth jets would fire lasers which don't do much damage to Eggman ships, and they retaliate with several more blasts of cannon fire towards the stealth jets. The stealth jets move pretty fast. They manage to dodge a lot of the incoming fire. Few gain damage and scraped. Stars and Stripe, we can't even get any closer towards Japan with these ships in the way. And it looks like more are holding a formation in the distance, simply not wanting us to pass. Then we'll just have to clear the way. New order. Giant air construct. She would form a giant version of herself that would punch one of the egg ships, sending it spiraling into the sea. The other 2 egg ships would then focus all their fire on Stars and Stripes of the stealth jet she's on. The air construct would swing its arm towards the other egg ship. The egg ship would manage to back up just a little bit to dodge the incoming strike. A blast would then come out of the water, taking out 2 stealth fighter jets. Stars and Stripes would turn around. Where in the world did that come from? While she's distracted, one of the egg ships rams her giant air construct, pushing it towards her on the stealth fighter jet. Starstripe would then focus back onto the battle. New order. I have the strength of All Might. She would proceed to punch the egg ship, which would send it flying backwards, denting the front of the ship, destroying all of the cannons, basically having it implode itself, and the remaining pieces would just fall into the sea. This is where I have to pause here, and I gotta say this. Back in episode 5 of the series, when All Might punched Fun Fun and only really dented it a little, it was because he had a special alloyed metal surrounding Fun Fun that diminished the power of Quarks, including One for All, as soon as they made contact with the special metal. The Force still technically counts, but the strength that he would get from One for All was greatly diminished. These ships are not covered with the same material as Fun Fun and several other creations he has. That and New Order absolutely just bends reality. There's like no counter to that in terms of what Eggman can make currently in his forces. One more thing before we hop right back in and finish up What If Deku is Eggman Season Finale Part 3, and that is New Order is an absolutely broken Quark if you really think about it. Able to bend reality, and she's able to use 2 orders. That is her limit. Imagine if she didn't have a limit. This story would be over as soon as she arrived. Anyway, let's get right on back into the story. Stars and Stripes, look behind you! We're currently under fire! Stars and Stripes would turn around to see a whole bunch of lasers just blasting from the sea, firing at the stealth jets. Several of the stealth jets had went down because of the blasts coming from under the water by Ellie's mech. Ellie is taking out her support so they won't interfere, and so that none of them will get past Eggman's forces. Stars and Stripes would jump off the stealth jet she was on. New order. Lasers don't affect me. She swings her arm, deflecting the laser, blocking it from hitting a stealth jet. New order. I can fly. Starts to look around to see where the lasers are coming from. Ellie's mech keeps swimming around and shooting up, targeting the stealth jets from positions that she can shoot in their blind spots. She would then look at the timer that she has in her mech, seeing only a minute and 45 seconds have passed. She has to hold up for at least 3 minutes and 15 seconds so the Eggman can arrive and the shield can be turned on. What to do? What to do? I could only call 3 egg ships forward. If any of the other ones move from their positions, one of the possible stealth jets or even Stars and Stripes could possibly slip through. And I don't feel confident enough for this mech to actually deal too much damage to Stars and Stripes. Then a laser from one of the jets would just hit the water going right by Ellie's mech. What was that? She would then pull up the camera footage from the last egg ship that's currently still fighting the stealth jets, flying around the last ship. While Stars and Stripes is throwing lasers from the attacks from the stealth jets down towards Ellie's mech in the water. She would be dodging left and right from lasers just being chucked into the water by Stars and Stripes. Okay, she's immune to lasers so far. So she presses a button as it switches over from firing lasers to sending a sonic sound wave, which causes Stars and Stripes to basically plug her ears. New ordered, high efficiency sound waves shall not affect me, which would have the laser effect go away. As soon as Ellie heard this, because she's hearing what she's saying from the egg ship that is still nearby, fighting the stealth jets. She immediately presses another button which transfers the sound back to a laser. She fires and hits Stars and Stripes dead center, sending her flying back a bit, to where she lands on a stealth jet. Stars and Stripes, it seems the enemy that's targeting us is underwater. It must be another one of these robots. Of course, the egg ships did deploy the egg bots to open fire like the ones with the jetpacks back with the fight with Neo and Fred. Stars and Stripes looks at the water, trying to find whatever is attacking her. But Ellie's no longer firing more attacks. The robot is obviously waiting for me to get distracted with fighting the robots up here, for it to strike either you or me. New order. I can breathe underwater. She would jump off the stealth jet and dive into the sea. She would look around, not seeing Ellie's mech, until it swims directly behind her and swings its right arm into Stars and Stripes' head, saying her, I guess it wouldn't be the term flying? Would it be swimming? Would it be diving? I'm gonna go with propelled. Stars and Stripes gets propelled to a reef that is nearby, destroying the reef. She immediately starts firing the lasers from the mech, constantly just shooting at the exact same position Stars and Stripes was propelled towards. New order, invincible body. She would get up and then start swimming towards Ellie's mech. The lasers not affecting her as she's swimming due to her invincible body because of the new order. The lasers aren't affecting her. She's looking through the controls. She presses a button. 2 torpedoes launch from both of the mech's arms, heading straight for Stars and Stripes. She swims through it as the torpedoes explode. Ellie's looking at the control panel, trying to find something that could affect Stars and Stripes, because she's just watching Stars and Stripes, who has an invincible body and can breathe underwater. So she has to figure out what she can do to slow her down or stop her. She then remembers about the sonic wave cannon. The effect of sound is highly amplified underwater. Ah, my ears! She would cover her ears. New order. Immune to sound. After activating that new order, she would swim up to the surface to take a breath of air and then swim back underwater towards Ellie's mech. Ellie would fire another sound attack for it to have no effect on Stars and Stripes. She would switch over back to the lasers and start firing, but Star and Stripe is just getting closer and the lasers are doing nothing to her. She decides to turn around and immediately just swim off. New order, I can swim at the speed of sound. She would move so fast that she would swim close to Ellie's mech. She would surface to take another breath of air before swimming back down. Ellie sees on her radar that she's approaching fast. What to do? She immediately presses a button that activates a small shield. Star Stripes would manage to get under the mech and would say, New order. I have the strength of All Might. She would punch the shield, sending Ellie's mech flying out of the water, flying up in the air. She would surface, New order, I can fly. She would fly out of the water, heading straight for Ellie and her mech. She would throw a punch, shattering the force field, still propelling even higher in the air. Ellie would aim both cans and fire towards Stars and Stripes. She would dodge the 2 incoming lasers and punch the glass of the cockpit, causing it to crack. This is bad. She moves one of the cans to fire at her directly. She punches the arm, sending the arm to go flying off the mech. Several warning signs would appear on the screen. Warning, arm gone. Warning, engine failure. Warning, weapons failing. Shield destroyed. Stars and Stripes prepares to punch the mech once again. Ellie prepares for the glass to break and for her to destroy the mech. When Star Stripe suddenly gets hit by a force and it just gets sent propelling away, someone lands on the egg ship. I can't believe Eggman had me come all the way out here to protect a newbie. Ellie would open her eyes. Hey, you, activate the thrusters on this thing. She would activate the thrusters immediately before a screen would pop up and she was able to see who saved her. Camo, what are you doing here? I may not know you that well, but an order is an order from Eggman. I was sent here to assist you if things went south. A few egg ships will arrive, but they're the smaller variety. They're like carrying troop egg ships, as they would start deploying little robots to start attacking the remaining of the stealth jets and to fight against Stars and Stripes. It looks like I arrived just in time, otherwise your mech would have been destroyed. And I'm not doing this for free, I'm only doing it because Eggman ordered me. I would have preferred to stay hidden in Japan. Thank you? Now get out of here. I'll handle this from here on out. My mech could still fight. I could still delay and add more time. You've already stalled her for long enough. Take a look. The mech would move over to look towards Japan, as she noticed the shield is starting to circle around Japan. You had managed to hold her off long enough. Now get out of here, it's my turn. Camo may not like Eggman, but he surely respects him to a certain degree. He also doesn't see Ellie like Neo, Griff, or Cole. Ellie reminds him of some of his people, so that's why he rescued her. Even though it was an order to assist, he could have just stood by and did nothing while he watched Ellie, an ally, be destroyed. But he sees Ellie, even though having a very few interactions with Ellie, that she reminded him of a few of his people that he swore to protect. Now you get out of here, I'll take over. He jumps off Ellie's mech and immediately grabs one of the flying robots before heading towards the egg ship that is left flying. Ellie would immediately turn around and fly away from the area, like Eggman had ordered her to once backup arrived, or if things got out of control. Camo would look back. She definitely has a very different personality compared to Neo, Cole, and Griff. I may not interact with too many of the egg bosses, but I can tell she's different from all of them. He would then go invisible. We go back to Stars and Stripes, who wakes up out of her daze after being punched pretty hard by Camo. Ugh. What hit me? Stars and Stripes, we need your assistance. She would look toward the egg ship and see a whole bunch of egg robots just chasing down the remaining stealth jets. She would go over to rush and help. She gets close to destroying a few of the egg bots near one of the stealth jets when she gets kicked again from above. Camo had jumped off the egg robot he was holding on to, and then just roundhouse kick her downward into the egg ship, before cleanly just landing in front of her. You're my opponent now, Stars and Stripes. My colleague will not be interfering, and you don't have to worry about that. And don't think you're getting past that force field either. Trust me. If I know my boss, he knows how to make things real durable. You will go down, villain. Let's see if you can catch me first. He would go invisible. We go over to Eggman, who's just simply preparing a speech. Citizens of Japan, welcome to what will soon be known as the Eggman Empire. I like that. That's a good start to it. Orbot would come over. Sir, we are ready. The cannon is charging up as we speak. We are over Japan. Emerald and Hazel are waiting for orders. Is Sting aboard? Sting arrived quite some time ago, yes. Have him ready to deploy some of our forces in the hangar bay. I gotta continue preparing my speech for when I fire the cannon. Very well. Also, activate Mechasonic Mark II. But sir, I thought you weren't going to activate him again. Activate him? I may need him. Very well, sir. Also activate the Silver Sonic robots as well. As you wish. Orbot would just hover away out the door. Eggman is preparing his speech. And we go to a monitor. A transmission from one of their egg ships. We are under attack! We are under attack! And then an explosion before the feed just cuts out. And that is the end for What If Deku Was Dr. Eggman Season Finale Part 3 of 4. Hopefully y'all have enjoyed this part. I absolutely loved the fights. I loved Griff, Giganto versus Dabi, and Shigaraki. I loved Neo versus Fred the Nomu. And then we had Ellie versus Stars and Stripes. And in the next part, you will see Camo versus Stars and Stripes. That fight's going to be a two-parter. You will also get to see Eggman fire his newly built weapon. You'll see what it does. Y'all also might be wondering, will the heroes, and Sonic's team be able to deal with Eggman Deku? You'll find that out in the season finale final part. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. And if you would like to see more of What If Deku Was characters from the Sonic universe, hit that subscribe button.